Yeah, I know you can't hear shit now because I was over there. I was over there. All right. There's a mic here and a mic there, but like when I'm over there, you can't hear the mic here. So like my first painting streams were shit, and when I'm over there and I'm over here, it doesn't work. So I have to like swap the mics. Yeah, it's complicated. Okay, streaming's hard when you're as stupid as I am. Look, this is not the miniature I'm painting. My daughter was down in the office playing with Chelsea. Apparently, this is Chelsea, Barbie's sister. Yeah. Little sister, of course. Here's what we're working on. Um. All right, so we had a couple of problems last time, or before. We washed these to make them like dirty and mucky the way they look now. Except we did it with my Agrax Earthshade, which is made for washes. And I guess it's really old, and it kept drying glossy no matter what I did. So I had washed these to give them depth. I washed these to make them dirty. I washed the arm guards down here. And they all became super glossy, which was super shitty. So I had to repaint them all. And then I had to go back and rewash them with like a custom wash. So I made a custom wash out of regular paints to get them to look like grimy and dirty and shadowy and stuff again. So now that we've done that, the thing that I had talked about doing last time is starting to do the base coat for all of these ropes. And all of this stitching. I don't know if you can see the stitching, but in between each of these leather pieces is stitching. And part of the reason I want to do that is, I think it's going to start making these feet look really good. I think the ropes are going to be kind of like a whitish. Grimy, dirty, and shadowy. Yeah. So, look. This is like dirt, right? But like it also works in the shadows, like in that little edge. If that makes sense. You're like enhancing the shadows, in a sense. You don't need the second part. Oh. You don't need dirty? Like you can just say grimy and shadowy? Sure, I mean, okay, whatever. I have to be a jerk. So yeah, what I want to do is base coat these today to get them to start standing out, because I think they're going to look really good when they start standing out. They're going to be like kind of whitish ropes. They'll be a little bit dirty. I said Fenny, you fuck. What? I don't even know. Grimy, dirty, and shadowy. You didn't read the second part. My joke. Literally didn't say Fenny anywhere. I'm looking at all of your chat. You didn't say Fenny anywhere. Oh, fuck. You said Fenny. You said Fenny. You know what? You're being disruptive. Alright. So, anyway, back to what I'm saying. We're going to start doing a base coat of like a dark gray on these ropes. And we're going to do a dark, the same gray on this stitching. And I really want to get this front part done. This front part of his thing done in general. Because when we get that done, then we can permanently install his belly armor. Which is something I've been working on for a while and is ready to go on. It's not completely finished. It's ready to go on. And, I need to get this done first because it goes underneath. Yeah, laugh it up, okay? Laugh it up. So I think what I had decided was I had gone with colors, and then my My daughter, who's very sweet, organized all of my paints. Except by organized, I mean she just put them randomly in here. I had them in groups for different things that I was gonna make to match the color scheme. So we're just gonna start again. Okay, I think we want this gray. Our screaming skull is our highlight. Is there like, I think we had like the Carrick stone that we were gonna do. Yeah, okay. Alright, so these are the three colors I'm gonna use. I found them already, so I'm not too mad at her. She was in here yesterday and she likes to fuck around. Because I have like a TV and she colors on the whiteboard. Anyway, we're gonna use Storm Venom Fur. Storm Vermin Fur. Well, see, like you can see over here, I have these three paints chilling here, right? And there's a reason that these three paints are chilling here. Rhinox Hide is a nice dark brown with like reddish hues, and then Doombull Brown is a very red brown, and then Mephiston Red is like a very bright red. And usually I'll even add this one in the middle, World Bearer's Red. So you can kind of see when I line these up, if I'm building up a red color, this is going to be like your base shadowy color. Then you're going to have the Doombull Brown, which is going to kind of start to give it some like brighter tints. And this is going to start to add that red layer. And then this is going to be your highlights. So that's why I keep them kind of like all together. This would be a great VOD of me ignoring what you're doing and you answering to my random chats. Thanks. Awesome. I love you too, Infernos. I really appreciate how much you bring to the stream when you're here. Anyway, we're going to start by... I don't know how much we're going to do right now, but we're going to start with the Storm Venom and do a base coat on all of the ropes and all of the stitching on the front. So shake the shit out of this because I haven't used it in a while. Use my paint vibrator. Waiting for Infernos' joke on that one. But it does a really good job of mixing the paint. There's a little metal ball in here. Get it super even. All right. This is gonna be kind of hard, I'm afraid, because we've got all of this work is really small. So I'm putting on my awesome, amazing, super nerd goggles here. Yeah, that's right. With a little light on them. Yeah. It's pretty sick. I will say that it makes painting tiny shit infinitely easier. So, we do our best to keep it in frame. That's something we're working on. And we get painting. In frame. Okay. All right. God damn. This shit is really small. It's funny I found with these glasses, when I don't use them, and I just paint, you know, I just paint by eye, it still looks really good and I really like the result. And then the thing is, I put the glasses on and I see all of these defects. And I'm like, oh my god, how did I not see all those? It looks terrible. And then I fix them with the glasses on. Like, the really crazy part is when I go back. Oh, fuck, I just got paint on the red. When I go back and look at it without the glasses on, it looks so much better. It's always wild to me how these little things that you can't see by the naked eye, like you could never pick out what was wrong by the naked eye. But when you fix it and you paint it at this scale and make it the way you want it at this scale, it just looks so much cleaner on the naked eye scale. So I can already have to tell I'm gonna have to touch up some of the red and stuff after I'm done this, because this is very small and I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm not a perfect painter or anywhere close to what anyone would call a perfect painter. I'm just a hobbyist. I think I do a pretty good job. I actually usually end up getting fairly good results and not too far away from like my ideal results by the end. The big difference is that it takes me a lot of time. I have to do a lot of repainting, a lot of touch-ups. I have to try certain things a bunch of times to get them right. I think that's really like the biggest difference between me and people who do this all the time and are like really fucking good at it. They just get it right like the first time and they can fly through models. When these people are like painting models, like, you know, they'll paint something like this with just as much detail as me, but they'll do it in, you know, 3 days. And this is like been a month-long project for me. And I'm still proud of myself for how it comes out, because I think I do a good job, and it's hard in general to paint and have a good color scheme and understand lighting and dimension. But yeah, when I see people who are really fucking good just go to town, it's sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little depressing. Because they just do what would take me forever in like a heartbeat. I might have to try it 3 times before I get it right, and then when I do something else, it's gonna make me it's gonna make me fuck up, and then I'm gonna have to go back over it and do it again, and then it might take me 2 more tries. When I finally get there, I feel so good, and then I just see people and they do it like instantly on the first attempt, like it was like just the most simple task you could have asked them to do. Which I get, because there's things that I'm very, very good at. But painting is just my hobby, but man, it's hard sometimes. What are you saying over there? I made so many... You get that from a local art store. Get what from a local art store? I don't know what you're referring to. I do get some things at local art stores, but I don't know what you mean. I made so many ordering mistakes that are also tiny in this stupid 70+ page booklet. Years of practice, how I design quickly. Yeah, I know that like I know that it's just practice, and the more you do it, you get better. Because like I said, there's things that I'm really good at that other people struggle at that I can do super fast. But it's still frustrating when there's something that you like to do that you're just not that good at, and you just haven't had years and years of practice, and you want to be better, or you see somebody else and you just admire them and you're like, man, like, will I ever be that good? But I don't really get jealous with painting. Like, it's not like I'm like, I just don't care about it that much. I don't ever get to the point where I'm like fuck, like, you know, like, I don't know. You have like those negative jealous emotions. There's things that I get like really jealous about, but definitely not painting. I'm usually just like, that's fucking awesome, and that person is fucking crazy. Because ultimately I get there and this is for fun. And I have fun with it. And by the time I get there, I've really enjoyed myself. And that's what it's about. I really started painting when I was super stressed with work. And I realized that painting is like one of the few activities where I really just like, I don't know, my brain just stops being shitty and starts calming down. And that just makes such a difference for me. Being able to have that thing where I can just, even if it's just, having, 2 hours to myself. Of clear-headedness before I go back into crazy work. And being like, Because normally being inside my brain is like a tempest. My brain is a scary place. Probably for a lot of reasons, to be honest. But I think this is already time to go to ads as you're reading. Oh yeah, I was just kind of agreeing with you. I think this already looks cool. I knew this was gonna make it stand out and look awesome. This is just a base coat. It's obviously not gonna be gray, but this is why I was really excited to do these ropes because this already looks pretty sick. I'm pretty stoked about that. Do the ones on the back and then do the stitching. I think the stitching is going to also make it really pop. And this is just color 1 of 3. Once you start getting into highlights, it's going to look awesome. Hopefully it'll start really looking like an actual rope. And then when I'm done, I'm going to have to wash it again to make it dirty. But we learned our lesson. Our made for washing wash is ruined. For whatever reason, it's old or it's settled or something's wrong with it, but it dries glossy. We don't use it anymore. That was a lesson we learned. So when we go to wash it, we're going to do the same thing we did for this current wash. Just make a custom wash out of Rhinox hide. Which honestly works out well anyway, because Rhinox hide is like our base color and our shadow color. So bringing that sort of reddish dark color back is good for the overall composition. Yeah, it's funny, Infernos, when it comes to like... Sorry, I'm out of frame. When it comes to like designing things on the computer, I'm like, I feel helpless. But I'm actually pretty good at like color combos and light and art in the real world, I guess I should say, like on like a hard surface or when I'm painting something. But man, am I bad like digitally? I don't know, for some reason when it's digital, my brain just don't see it. Part of me kind of knows what I want it to look like or what it should look like, but I have no idea how to get it there. So much different than in like on like an actual surface where I can look at it and say, like, oh yeah, no, like the light's hitting there. It needs to be like a lighter shade or like it needs to be sunnier. Easier to see on a hard object. Yeah, I would agree. Definitely for me. I know some people are just like whizzes at digital design. But not me. I see a real thing, I'm like, my brain understands how that works and how light's supposed to hit it. But and this is really small. These little stitches. Trying not to like ruin all the painting I've done. It's just like the tiniest mistake. Can't tell if this is on screen or not, but it's stressful. See those little stitches there? Yeah. Between all of these layers of all of these different pieces of fabric, which is cool. I love the detail of it. Then I just do that and fuck it up in like one swift movement. I also go out of frame all the time. And I know I do that, and I know I need to stop. But it's so hard to paint. To try and get physically in the right location. To be able to paint something and not make mistakes and hold the mini in a way that you're secure. But then also keep it in a place that is visible on camera. And be aware of like where the camera is. I didn't love that. Just trying to make 3 stitches and it just looked like a big glob. Details of this size are really interesting because when you do them wrong, they just look like clumps and undefinable and really shit. When you do them right, they make the minis stand out so much because they just add like a lot of clarity to like the folds and the shit that you're looking at on the mini. So they're super important, but then simultaneously like super difficult and very like high risk, high reward, if that makes sense. You can fuck it up and you'll regret ever having painted them at all. Or you can do it right and it can just like make your mini completely stand out and look amazing. But right now, I'd be lying if I didn't say I'm fairly happy with how this is coming out. I'm going very slow, which is helping. I'm not using too much paint, so there isn't too many ways I can fuck up here. I say that, but watch me fuck up in a second. Okay, I think we got the base coat pretty good on that foot. I don't know that I wouldn't worry about just show after. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. So we got, you can see the stitching, I think, kind of. It's hard because it's so small, but it's the little gray spots between the red panels. Um, yeah, you can see the stitching in particular, like back here, going like running up and down the leg, holding these together. Yeah, I think that looks really good. Okay, we're gonna do the other foot, and then this part right here, and then see if we want to do like another layer, depending on what time it is and how long that takes. I really love this model. When I saw all the ropes and stuff going across it, I got super excited. I feel like when you have like big boots and stuff like this, um, a lot of models will just have like big boots with like folds in the cloth and stuff, and that's fine. But you're basically painting like you're basically just trying to make it one big convincing piece of leather. When you start adding all these little details and shit into it, um, I feel like you really give it the opportunity to shine as a model and be more like dynamic and feel more realistic and um, yeah, generally just be a super cool figure. All right, this brush head is not being friendly. Keeps wanting to separate bristles. I feel like I kind of need to get a new really small brush. I love my brushes right now. And a little bit attached to them. So I don't want to get rid of them. Even though I probably should. Yeah, even that one rope, like everything you do just like kind of sticks out. And again, I know I'm gonna have to go over this because fuck, I'm not perfect, especially at this little stuff. I'm doing the best I can, and my brush head isn't perfect. It's just I'm not getting like a perfect coverage, hitting some of the red spots. You know what? That's all okay. Don't really care. Not gonna get stressed about it. Just keep on painting. We get stressed and we just keep on painting because ultimately painting makes me less stressed. So that sounds like quite a cycle though. Painting makes me less stressed, but I'm getting stressed about painting. I need to paint more to be less stressed about my painting. But if I'm painting something that keeps making me stressed, how do you ever stop painting? You just paint forever? Hope that you get over the thing that's stressing you out? I don't know, man. I might have just broken the universe. Or at least just broken my brain. Which probably isn't that hard to do. TBH. The other nice thing about these goggles, besides them looking super nerdy, is they have a light right on them. And even though I'm doing this in front of a light, directly in front of a light, Whenever you turn the model, it makes shadows. And it's nice having a light that's literally shining directly where you're looking, so you're never looking into a shadow. It's very hard to paint colors appropriately and get coverage appropriately and know what you're trying to paint when you are looking at a shadow. It's super shit. Fuck. I don't think anyone followed, but now I'm just wondering if anyone did. Because I'm nervous that my alerts bar is still not working. And I keep thinking about it. That probably sounds really pathetic, like I'm begging somebody to follow me. I'm not really. That's not what I'm saying. I just want my alerts to work correctly. It's really hard to test them out appropriately, um, because it relies on other people's actions. That's all. Okay. We will stop and look at it in just a second. We made some progress here. A little bit more to go before we take another look. See what's next. I love that these ropes are even like 3-dimensional. They're not just kind of like sometimes with the little details. Um, People who make these things will just carve like the pattern of the rope into the wool. And it's enough, honestly, to paint to make it look convincing. But these ropes are legit. Like, you have to paint the sides, the bottoms, the tops. It is a full-on 3-dimensional rope. I made a mistake down there. That's annoying. But I'm gonna touch other stuff up anyway. Let's take a minute to appreciate how it's looking. Nice. A little bit more rope and then a couple of stitches. Then we'll be on to the waistband. I left like the really hard rope for last, which is stupid. I hate doing the really hard stuff last because I feel like requires a lot of concentration. And when I'm just staring at really small stuff and focusing, it burns my concentration really quickly. And all of a sudden, all I have left is to do stuff that takes high concentration, and I get really nervous. Alright, so I'm doing this stitching now. It's going better than the first time I did the stitching. The little bit of practice or first run that I did, it wasn't practice. I should have practiced. The first leg that I did was good practice for this leg, because this leg is coming much easier. This makes me feel like I should have practiced on something really small before I did the first one, because this one's coming across, I think, much better, much clearer, much cleaner. The other one wasn't bad. I'm not saying it was, but this one just feels easier and feels nicer. Damn, some of these stitches are in very inconvenient painting locations. That's always the case with some parts of the mini. Is not everywhere is fun to paint. But there's always like a place on the model where you're like, fuck, how do I get back there? Alright. So a couple of errors, a couple of things I'll need to touch up, but I think even though that's just a base coat, that adds so much to the feet to have them stand out like that. You're gonna drive home. I'll test the alerts next time possibly. Okay, sick. Have a good drive, man. Thanks for coming by. All right, now we're gonna do the stitching on the waist part, and then I think we might just call it. But that's like a really big deal. Getting the stitching done is awesome because we worked on the. Honestly, we worked on the shading of this for way too long. Like literally, because of the glossy shading, we were doing the shading part of this for like a week. Because I had to shade it and then see how it would dry, and it was glossy. And then I had to repaint it and let it dry, and then shade it again and see how it would dry, and then it was glossy again. So I had to repaint it again and let it dry. And I just like kept repeating this process. I did it at least 3 times. And it was just like, God, I was making no progress. I was doing so much painting and nothing was happening. It just looked the same as it did before. In some cases, it looked worse. So when it would dry glossy, it just looked really like a kid's toy. So frustrating. So it is a really good feeling right now to be doing the stitching. I've been kind of thinking about getting to this stage for a while. And frankly, I've been excited to get his belly armor officially on his belly since I more or less finished painting it. And that in itself is a whole project. There's multiple shields, chainmail, a weapon or two. So yeah, that was a ton. All right. Now technically, this belt in here is a rope. I don't know if you can see it. So you can see the stitching coming to life there. That looks really good. It's not going to be gray, obviously, when it's done, but this is just our undercoat. Technically, this belt is also a rope, and I'm going to get it, even though it's going to be really hard to do. And even though it's not necessary, because you're not really going to see it, it's under the armor. I always hate not doing something and then later finding like, oh, there's a little peephole and you can actually kind of see it a little bit. And it's not painted. And then I feel dumb. I want to get that piece back there, but I don't want to. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. I will regret that 100%. Get a little bit more gray on these. Okay. I'm just going to do the pieces here. This piece thread hanging out. That's a pretty cool detail. I really like that. So many cool details in this guy. Makes him awesome. It's also why I'm taking forever to paint him. For anyone curious, no, I do not play Warhammer. I'm not against playing Warhammer. I never have anyone to play Warhammer with. But I used to play when I was in high school. Like many long years ago. But now I just kind of I'm really into the painting. I really enjoy the painting and the creation of the models. That has completely taken over my passion for the game itself. Not to say I wouldn't play a game, and I still like paint specific armies. For example, I don't just paint every random mini. So I obviously still like the game, because in my head I'm always like building a this army or building a that army. But yeah, I like Warhammer, but at this age, most of what I like about Warhammer is that I think they just make damn good minis. It's really hard to make a good, like, dynamic movement looking mini. I feel like most minis just look like stupid little statues with no life to them. I hate that. Just not interested. And I love that Games Workshop does that. Now there's a lot of other like unique game companies coming out that are making minis now. I think are doing really good. But they're doing great things. But on the whole, they have way less minis, way less diversity. And their quality is sometimes unpredictable. I've come across some that are just like really good quality, and that's been super awesome, and I'm really glad that I found them. But sometimes they sacrifice. You know, if they're a little company and they don't have money, their resin molds just aren't as good. The detail that they offer just isn't quite there. Like the design's amazing. You want to paint the mini because it's like such a dynamic, like looking figure, but then like you get the actual thing and it's hard to pull some of the details out because it's just not molded as well. That's unfortunate, but it's just kind of the reality, so I don't get upset about it. I appreciate all of them for what they are. I would definitely like to get involved though in painting of some minis or models that aren't war related. I don't mean like Warhammer related. I mean like in general, like aren't even war related. I want to start making some things that are just more unique. Maybe not as replicable as a Warhammer piece. Something that could be more of like a standalone art piece on its own. Not to say that a really well painted Warhammer piece isn't a standalone art piece, because man, I know how many hours go in to painting like a display level quality Warhammer piece, and that is impressive. Yeah, I would love to get into making something very unique and just like more of a pure artistic mindset. I've been thinking about it a lot lately, but haven't done anything about it, and I have like a whole shelf full of full of Warhammer stuff, so I'm not even gonna start thinking about going in that direction until I get that all done. So yeah, I can talk the talk, but in reality, um, we aren't getting there for some time. I have a whole backlog of things that I need to paint. That I've already bought. It's funny because I find that for painters, that's like a really common thing, actually. Like, we get excited about something, so like, oh, I want to paint that model really badly. And we'll go out and buy it, even though we have like 20 things to paint already. We want to paint them, and we're like, oh yeah, we're going to paint this, but like, it ends up taking longer than we think, or like something delays us. And next thing you know, it's like, you've just got rows and rows of boxes of figures to paint. And it's like, okay, well, even if I want to paint something else, I have, all of this Warhammer shit to paint already. I'm not going to go out and buy a different company worth of stuff. Until I at least get this Warhammer shit painted, so. Sorry, stop talking there because I feel like my focus is starting to fade. Maybe I'll do these last few ones right here. I still have paint on my brush. If my focus is starting to fade, then I might need to just stop. I don't want to start making a whole bunch of mistakes I have to repaint over later. Especially on this stuff that I just complained about shading a whole bunch of times. I don't have to shade it again. Because I got sloppy. This is interesting. This is just a big rope. So I can paint that. I always find it funny when I'm painting something gray. Sorry, this is what I've been painting. I've been off screen for a while, my bad. All this stuff and then these ropes on his hip here. When I'm painting something gray, it's always interesting because when you buy the pieces, this is the gray that they come. So you look at it and you feel like it's not painted, even though you've done already I've done a black layer underneath as like a base coat, and now I'm doing like another layer on top of that black layer of gray. But ultimately, you went through all of that to make it the same color that it started. It feels unpainted. It's weird. It feels wrong, but it's not. Yeah. Cool. We're starting to really get these little pieces to stick out. I like that. I think this looks great. I'm super happy with with the results. Pull it back so we can focus. I think it looks awesome. Yeah. I am stoked. Next time we'll probably highlight these a little bit. Or maybe we'll finish the gray first and then highlight this stuff. Or give it like a more middle tone. So the next tone we're going on that is not this. The next tone we're going on that is this Carrack Stone, which is kind of like a tan stone color. Let's see if I can get a... And then we're giving it highlights with this Screaming Skull, which is going to look kind of whitish as a highlight, but it actually is pretty yellowish. You can see, for example, both of these for color comparisons, it's pretty yellow compared to that, and this is actually fairly dark compared to that. So that's going to be our next project and where we go from here. Nice point on that brush. See if we're actually getting a point. Focus. Yeah. Nice. All right. So yeah, we're really trying to get this whole front area done. So we can get this guy on here. And we can move forward to the next phase. Because I think that looks pretty baller. So, we did good work. That was awesome. Oh shit. To All right. Cool. Thanks for hanging out. It was a good stream. I had a good time. Hope you guys did too. Feel free to throw me a like or a follow or a sub or whatever the fuck you want. This will be on YouTube eventually. So if you missed part of it and you want to watch it again, you can go see it. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.